Hi, my name is Min, and I live in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm part of Team Spooky. Around 2005, I would say, 2004. So it's been like 8 years, I would say. 8, 9 years. Apex was pretty awesome. This was the first time I was a tournament organizer for an entire event. Although it was just for the fighting game side, I gotta say it ran on time. Nobody was missing. I think everybody was really happy with the amount of setups and everything was the way everything was run there. Well, it's all started out when I used to play CVS2. I used to come to Chinatown Fair, and there was nobody really running any weeklies at a certain point. So I stepped up and started running brackets just to support my favorite game, you know, Capcom vs. SK2. So that's where it started, and I started going to majors and regionals, and I would just offer, you know, a hand over there because it was all grassroots. So you know, they look for any volunteers they can get. I've been friends with Nerd Josh, another Team Spooky member, since like 2007. I also knew Arturo Sanchez for around the same time, 2007. I used to play CVS2 with him at KO Fiend's apartment, practicing up. I remember choking to him at Evo East one year because I played him so much. Anyway, so I've known these guys for a while. A couple of years ago, I was just hanging out in New York. I used to live in Connecticut with Josh and stuff, and we were involved with that whole 24-hour Super Street Fighter 4 stream. They're spooky there, and that's how it began. Well, like I said, Apex was the first tournament I really ran by myself. I mean, I had a lot of help too. I would like to say thank you to the Kick Punch block guys, Steven and everybody, and Wise Guy always helps me out that big too. Anyway, mainly I want to make sure that everybody is representing the bracket correctly. Scheduling is obviously a really big problem in the fighting game community because we take a lot of on-site entrance and stuff. So, in my opinion, the best thing to do is just make sure you stagger the games so that nothing overlaps another, like one game doesn't overlap another big game. Besides that, like I mentioned, seeding and making sure the players are properly represented. I like to make sure that nobody plays somebody else from the same state, you know, same region. Everybody wants to avoid stuff like that. I just want to make sure all the players are happy. Well, as far as like seeding by skill goes, I guess that is subjective. But you could basically, I just take a look at like, you know, recent performances in bigger tournaments, whether it's like on the West Coast or worldwide. Yeah, there is no real science to it, I would say. It would be awesome if it was like MLG and, you know, there was a real league and, you know, you play throughout a season and you accumulated these points. But the reality is that, you know, like you said, it's a grassroots tournament. So you just have to look at each player's individual performances. Seeding by region, though, that's easy. I just break it down by states and then, you know, cities or whatever. I feel like with random seeding, the problem is that although you do want, like, absolutely no bias, that's what you're looking for when you're doing random seeding. I feel like it just hurts the tournament more than it helps. As in, like, sometimes a lot of, you know, top players or whatever are pulled into, you know, one bracket early on, and then I feel like the skill levels, like I feel like it doesn't properly represent the skill level, you know? Like certain, I don't want to say certain players don't deserve it, but you know, it comes down too much to luck then, if you just leave it up to random seeding. I think if a TO properly seeds a tournament, there shouldn't be any controversy or anything. Oh, well, it was the first fighting game I started with, so I'm just really fond of it. I gotta say, like, I'm not old school really, and I'm not like completely new school. I'm not like 2009 or whatever. And I think CVS2 is like the perfect game from that generation, like during the Dark Ages and everything. Third Strike is kind of like, I don't know, boring to me, and I didn't understand it that well. I'm not gonna hate on it or anything. CVS2 just has a really big cast, really technical. You can't make a lot of mistakes. You have to make sure you know all your like frame data and stuff like that. It forces you to play correctly, I feel like correct Street Fighter. There is a lot of bullshit in it, but you know that goes without saying in any game. There's a lot of bullshit. Yeah. After Chinatown Fair closed, there was no place to play. It was kind of dead in the scene for a while, you know. And Next Level opened, and it was just like those cabs right behind you. It was just those 6 AE cabs basically, and then he started adding all these other consoles and setups, and now you see what it is today. And thank God for Next Level. Otherwise, Next Level is so like important to Team Spooky, because without them, I don't think we'd have a regular tournament series, nothing to stream every week, and nobody would have a place to practice, like none of the East Coast scene, the New York scene. We were just rebranding it from Big 2. We were trying to figure out a better name for the tournament after Guard Crush. So we settled on Big 2, and we've been meaning to change it for a while, and Next Level Battle Circuit is the latest name, I guess. There's no real reason for it. I think no matter what happens, happens as far as like the whole mainstream aspect with like fighting games trying to go to esports, the grassroots community will always be around. And that's what people should focus on, because people who truly love the competition and everything, they'll never go away. All this money and stuff, as soon as these big companies stop supporting it, those tournaments will be gone. All that will be left are the players who truly care about the game.